All right, I'm meteorologist John Dawson. This is the Fox 26 YouTube Tropical Update. Want to make sure that you're definitely staying connected with us over this weekend here across Southeast Texas and the Houston area as there is definitely as tropical weather headed our direction. Some questions still as far as what that will look like when it gets here, but for sure we're looking for heavy rain across the Houston area on Monday and Tuesday. Might last a little bit more into Wednesday. It all depends on where this tropical wave, what I expect to become a tropical storm, will head. So we've got a lot to dive into, a lot of different scenarios and possibilities of where this might end up or what it might end up doing. I'm kind of sticking to sort of the mainstream kind of ideas of what's expected, and we'll sort of touch on some of those outlier possibilities so that you are prepared, but we'll definitely look for some rainy weather is going to be the big deal for sure. All the information I'm sharing is around 4 p.m. on Saturday, so things might update later on through the weekend. We'll be back on Sunday to update you as well. Make sure and check out the other Fox 26 social media to sort of get that look. But we're definitely looking at down in the far southern portions of the Gulf of Mexico. The Hurricane Center has identified this as Invest 94L. And I remember yesterday sort of thinking to myself, man, they're taking their time to really get involved and start to officially call this an area of invest. But then I kind of got to thinking, not really. This is pretty much on track with what they would normally do. It's just I feel the need to rush through all of this because we don't have that much time to really process what this system's going to do or what it will develop because our window's a little bit shorter. I know I'm a little bit wanting things to hurry up and kind of get settled, and we're just not there yet. We still have some questions as far as what this is going to end up doing. But again, pretty confident this is going to end up being a tropical depression or a tropical storm. I lean towards the tropical storm. I'm just not sure what will keep it from doing that. Not a strong wind event tropical storm, but still mainly a rainmaker is what we're looking at as a possibility. So just a reminder, this large red area here is where it could formally become a tropical system. So it's not necessarily where it's going to be headed, a forecast track or anything like that, although obviously if it's in this area then it's going to be sort of headed that direction, but not a forecast track. We're going to look at some computer models and some other ideas here in just a minute. So before we continue on with discussions on 94L, just a quick sort of review of what's happening. I've stopped tracking Larry. Larry is up to the north. It's post-tropical cyclone at this point. Not going to impact the United States at all. There's a large area out in the western portions of the Atlantic, 20% chance of development according to the Hurricane Center. And then that system that was just rolling off of Africa still has high chances for development, 50% in 2 days, 70% in 5 days. And then there's even another spot out further south of that that's also looking at the possibility of development as well. So very active across the Atlantic basin for sure. And we'll continue to kind of, again, keep an eye on everything and see what happens first, but it does look like the system in the Gulf of Mexico is going to be a possibility. So let me just jump right to the event here on what we're concerned with, and that's going to be rainfall totals. I'm only running my computer models here on this particular one through Tuesday evening, so there could be even more rain expected, but as we get into Monday, you begin to see some of these heavier areas of rain popping up. This is as early as Monday morning. This is definitely close enough at the timing and the organization of our modeling that we're not getting too focused on very specific locations. The confidence is a little bit low there. This could easily slide down into Brazoria County as well as it is in the Chambers County at the moment, depending on where that system were to head eventually. But at the moment, the heavier rain does seem to be wanting to move a little bit further over to the east. So we're definitely looking at some heavy amounts, some 2 to 4 inches. Again, this is only through Tuesday, 4 to 7 possibly, and then right now, the heavier amounts of rain even further over into Louisiana. And when we take a look at the GFS model here in just a minute, you're going to get a better idea of what's happening there. So this is pretty new. Again, you'll see popping up where the low is just now in over some water. It has been over land, now just off of the coast. And you'll notice how those dark reds beginning to pop up, showing those stronger storms beginning to form. And that modeling, again, taking it, getting a little bit more closer together, beginning to take it over towards southeast Texas and over into Louisiana. And again, where the center of this all ends up is going to be a pretty big deal. This is the GFS model. This is a pretty reliable source, but it's early on. So that's why our confidence maybe isn't quite as high as it's going to pan out exactly like what we're looking. But as we take this system in, you'll notice it looks like it wants to head over into South Texas, but then it's going to sort of ride up along the coast. And here's Tuesday morning, and you see all that heavy rain. The bulk of it is offshore, which that's going to kind of be the best case scenario for us, I think, if this stays on the current track. If it tracks further over to the west, then we get a little bit more of that rain. If it tracks just off of the coast, the heaviest of the rain, I think, will also stay off to the coast, and then the rest of it ends up into Louisiana. So as we move a little bit further on, you'll see how those heavy rains continue to go to Louisiana. If it makes a further west landfall, then that heavier rain ends up in the Houston area. And then we'll, of course, see that fall apart quite quickly once it moves onshore. So this is one of those times in which we know we're going to have heavy bands of rain. We're really hoping to get some breaks in between those so that we can kind of recover a little bit our bayous, and we'll have minimized the flooding. But it definitely is going to be a flood risk for the Houston area, all of Southeast Texas, once we get into Monday and into Tuesday. We talked about this yesterday, the peak of hurricane season, September the 10th. That's right where we are, and we're definitely seeing that with all that activity that were happening out there. And I showed you all the potential areas for development, sort of a race to see who's going to get the next name. It looks like at this point, if the Gulf system continues to develop, Nicholas is what that will be named when it becomes a tropical storm. Odette also is the next item on the list as a possibility. Because things are changing so quickly, please make sure you're following me at John Dawson, Fox 26 on Twitter and Facebook. Instagram as well, although that's not quite as current information. That's a little bit more dated a little bit. So Twitter and Facebook, definitely where you're going to get the latest information. My hurricane gear tests, you'll find those on the Instagram, which is a great way to help in your preparations. I hope you're staying prepared, of course, as we see a tropical system headed our direction. Fox 26 weather app, yes, that's going to have everything. Once it becomes tropical, then you're going to see all that right there in front of you, and you're going to be able to manage, of course, how you receive alerts that might be coming your way as well. So I'll continue to keep you updated on our social media platforms, and then we'll get another update here on YouTube for sure on Sunday afternoon.